All right, we're live. Thank you guys for tuning in. We coming in our channel on YouTube, and we now on Facebook too. Thank you very much for tuning. Thank you very much for all your messages and by messenger or by email that you've been sending. Today we have an interview. Unfortunately, we can't do the interviews always at the same time because everybody has different schedule. We have Boone Moore. He's from Transamerica, and he will share with us his journey from what he used to be, and now he is very successful in Transamerica. And here we have Boone Moore. Thank you so much for coming to our interview.
It's my pleasure, Gus. Thank you for having me on.
So why don't you tell us a bit your story? How do you get started? What were you used to do before Transamerica? What is the journey you went through?
Well, when I graduated from college, I have a degree in business administration, and I thought that that's what I was going to do. But interestingly enough, I ended up in the custom home building business. And so the smallest house that I'd ever built was 5,000 square feet, and the largest I did multiples in the 28,000 square foot area. But I was in that industry for 26 and a half years, and then 2008 happened, and basically construction was dead for 3 years. So I ended up having to alter myself and recreate myself, if you will. So I played a lot of racquetball to keep myself physically and mentally in tune. And one of the guys that I played racquetball with said, "Hey, I work in the financial services industry. Why don't you come down and take a look at what it is that we do?" And I did. I liked what I saw. I loved the fact that we could help families. And so that allowed me to make a change. And it was a big change. But the thing is that when your back's against the wall and you don't have other options, moving in a forward direction is always a good thing. And so there's a lot of fear involved with the unknown. But if you do your homework, you'll find that oftentimes it's not as fearful as you think. Of course, fear stands for false evidence appearing real. And so oftentimes the reality is not nearly as bad as what we think it might be. So I made that leap of faith, and I was with one of the top companies in the industry, and it worked out really well. And then the second change happened for me and transition, which is there was an ownership change at the local branch. And because of that, that change was not as smooth as I would have liked it to have been. So I looked for a new place to work. And that's when I was introduced to Transamerica. So I walked in the front door for Transamerica, and on the opposite wall from where I walked in was a sign that said "No Family Left Behind." And so I love helping everyone, not just, super wealthy people. Don't get me wrong. I love helping super wealthy people too. And we do some amazing things for them. But the simple fact is that I'm passionate about bringing financial education to everybody, not just the super wealthy. And so everyone is deserving of having this information, and some of it can forever change your life. And so as a result of that, I ended up working with Transamerica, and which is also partnered with World Financial Group, which is our marketing arm of what we do. And so I've rapidly gone through the ranks here, and I'm now at the highest level of contract pay that is available. And I found that transition was amazing because it allowed me to make that transition in a relatively smooth way. The key for me, though, there were two things. Number one was that I wanted a proven system, something that had already been working. I didn't want to have to create something. And so World Financial Group's been in place for over 40 years. So that for me was a natural. And then, of course, you had, I wanted more options on the table for my clients because I work for my client. I'm not loyal to any one company. That allows me to have right at 80 companies that we have for solutions. So before I only had one solution. And if we did business, you left with a product that had that company's name on it. But now I have right at 80 companies that we have available, that we have almost every financial solution in the overall spectrum. So this gives us some unique options that the average financial person doesn't have. And so I'm kind of a rare breed. I actually cover two sides of the spectrum. I cover not only securities, but I also do the life insurance side of things. So that way, no matter what my client needs, I'm licensed and professionally capable of handling all of those issues. And so for me, that was a pretty pivotal thing to have access to not only just one set of companies. Now I can do it on both sides of the financial equation. So that's kind of my transition. The beauty of what we do here is that it's all about mentorship. And my favorite way of learning is actually leadership by example. And that's what we teach here. All of my mentors, they don't tell me what to do. They show me what to do. And so for me, that's by far the better way to do it. I've never really enjoyed learning from a book, but if you took me out somewhere and showed me how to do something, then that's way more valuable to me because it's forever imprinted on my mind. And that is our way of doing business here, is that we have the ability to basically take somebody who knows nothing about our industry and then eventually evolve into a financial professional that is capable of handling almost anything. And here's the thing, is that as you're in that process of transition and through your career here, well, we're always available because our business model is unique in one respect, is that we always have a vested interest in your business. And as such, we're never going to give you bad information. We're constantly going to be giving you only information that helps you and helps build your business. Because quite honestly, if we gave you bad information, that would be like shooting ourselves in the foot. And we're never going to do that. So it's an amazing place to work. Our culture is unique in the fact that there's over 57 spoken languages within our company. And we have people of every race, religion, culture. It doesn't matter. We're all working in a positive direction. And it's kind of like the United Nations of the financial spectrum. And it's a fun place to work. And you can make unlimited income. So there's no limit as to how much you can make.
Boone, let me ask you a question. When you moved in 2008, and sorry if I ask you, how old were you when you moved this transition from being in real estate for 25 years and then moving to start over? Because you start in a new industry that you have not much knowledge about, no?
This is true. And that was part of the intimidating part because I was very entrenched in my industry. I never, ever thought that I'd be doing anything different. But, when your industry goes away for 3 years and almost no one's making a living in that industry, you have to make some changes. And sometimes it requires that leap of faith. And so I was, probably about 42 when I made that transition. And so it was, I won't say death defying, but it was pretty scary. But the thing is that I trust myself and the gifts that I've been given. And so I knew that I could make that transition because I've, other times in my life, I've had to make some pretty gutsy calls and I did them and I was successful at them. So I have a natural belief in myself and that I can pretty much handle anything that comes my way.
Oh, that's great. So when you started in Transamerica, how did you did it to find your clients? Did you do any specific marketing way, or you were start contacting the people that you used to do in real estate? How do you build up your clients?
Well, so there's been some ways that work better than others. When I initially started out, I tried doing some advertising in newspapers and things like that. I tried doing trade shows. None of those really did very well for me in this industry. But the part that was always coming back to me was just helping your average American, because quite honestly, our industry's kind of taught people that if you don't make $250,000 and up, they don't really want to work with you. And so that's where the no family left behind comes into play, because I'll help somebody, even if they're completely in debt up to their eyeballs, develop a plan of action that'll get that paid down as fast as possible, and then take that same amount that they're spending and start making it work, making their money work for them. And so I think that's a very important part of what we do, and it's available to everybody. But we work with everybody no matter where they are in their financial journey. They could be at the very beginning, or they could be at the very end. I mean, some of my youngest clients are only 18 days old. So, which startles some people, but we can actually do some pretty amazing things for babies. And and it's, whether you're a parent or a grandparent, we've got some strategies in place that we can utilize that can, they've got some guaranteed money at the end of their life. So it's a pretty amazing thing that we do and that we can do. And so it's, and as far as business owners go, we've got tax-free strategies, things like that we can use that, the average American's never seen, but it's been around for 117 years. So it's why don't we know that? We should know that.
When you were 42, you were married, you have kids?
I was.
So why did you ever cross the mind of looking for a job instead of become a self-employed and working for a financial company?
So I pretty much my whole life, not all of it, but almost all of it, I worked as an employee. And the thing is that this is kind of my philosophy now, is that when you have a boss, somebody else is designing your life for you, meaning that, they tell you when you have to be at work, and there's a ripple effect off that. Well, now moving backward in time. So if you have to be at work at 8, that means you have to be on the road at 7:30, which means you have to get the kids up at 6:30, get them dressed, all that kind of stuff, which means that you have to get up at 6 o'clock to get your shower and get ready for all of this stuff that happens. Yeah. And so in that routine, it becomes a habit. And we become so accustomed to it over time that we think that that's the only way to do things. When in fact, entrepreneurship and being your own owner actually gives you some unique powers, if you will. So for example, I roll out a new month calendar, and I immediately plug in all of the family events that I want to do, all of the adventures that I want to do as far as vacations, time off, date night, all those things. I plug all of those in first, and then I design my business life around that. And so it's a complete different perspective. So now I've gone from having my life designed for me to actually designing my own life the way that I want it to be. And I'm enormously happier because of that.
Oh, that's great. That's excellent. So when you started working in Transamerica, you were by yourself. Now, have you been building a team, or are you keep working by yourself?
No, so I'm actually one of those folks that loves developing teams. And because of that, I have 42 agents across 18 states. And so we've got, numerous operations going. And one of the beauties of having, and it's a terrible thing that COVID happened, but the thing is that it also opened up some opportunities. And some of those were that, number one, is that people didn't want to meet face to face anymore. So I don't have travel time anymore. So Zoom meetings have replaced that. Well, technology didn't used to be an acceptable way to do business, especially in the financial world. Almost everybody wanted to shake your hand and look you eye to eye. Well, now it's electronic eye to eye, but the thing is that we can still get it accomplished, and because it's more receptive now, and it's an established way of doing business. Well, even my mom can do a Zoom meeting, which is pretty amazing. And but the thing is that opportunity is available because of a terrible situation that our country is still going through today. But the thing is that it gives us an opportunity to be immediately more efficient in what we do. And because of that, it also opens up some other doors. And that's the fact that, whenever you talk to somebody about life insurance, let's say, for example, no one wants to talk about life insurance because it involves the concept and the topic of death. And so most people are fearful about talking about that, but yet everyone wants to have life insurance because of what it does for their families. It protects them. It's just a touchy topic. But here's the thing. When you turn on the TV anymore, it's all about nothing but death and people, how many people died this day and et cetera, et cetera. So it's made people more conscious, and it's put it more on the front burner for people than it ever has before. I can tell you in this last year, and what may seem like the worst of times, my business has grown by 40%. So I've been very blessed to have the business that I do and have the team that I do. And see that the team part adds another part to the equation, which is communication is key. Being able to maintain that communication and consistency of message, all the way from daily trainings to bigger trainings. I mean, my main mentor is out in San Jose, California, and he gave $70,000 of his own money to Zoom because he couldn't get a room bigger than 1,000 people. Well, now he can do over 5,000 people. And sometimes we peg that number as well. So, but the thing is that that's what's happened in our industry. Our company, we were a non-technology company other than doing quotations and things like that. We never used this type of communication device. When we went for training, we actually had to hop on an airplane and fly to California and back. So, that was an inefficient way of getting information out. And now it took them 2 days to go, you know what? We got to pivot here. It's time for a different way of doing business, because they immediately saw that it was not going to work out well. And so some of the companies that have stayed with the old business model have actually decreased substantially in sales and personnel and et cetera, and financial stability, to be honest. And so because we pivoted when we did, we have accelerated at an enormous pace. I mean, our company paid out almost $1 billion. We were just like $10,000 shy of $1 billion in commissions to the field. And that's never happened before in the history of our company. So, like I said, it's a terrible thing that's going on, but we have an opportunity to help families do some things that they might not ordinarily do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think so people that today are in their homes and they want to be protected and still need all the services. And if you are able to do those, you're definitely helping them.
Absolutely. Well, and that's what our company is built on. I mean, quite literally, no family left behind. So, you don't have to be a millionaire to come talk to us. In fact, all of our services are complimentary. So we don't charge anything for doing a financial plan. And, your normal companies out there, they charge, typically somewhere between $500 and $2,500, depending on how complex the plan is. And we don't charge any of that. So we're a value add company, and we do some really amazing things, not only for individuals, but also for big companies too. So,
Boone, if you could choose one word to make you the person that you are making today, what that quality would it be that you attach the most?
One word. I'm going to have to break it into 2 words. Mental toughness.
Go ahead.
Mental toughness is where it's at. I mean, you have to be able to mentally handle some defeats, but it can't knock you out of the saddle. You got to keep riding. And so mental toughness is, I think, probably the key. I mean, there have been books written about it, many books. Simon Sinek does a whole series on that. You've got the book Grit is another book that it's all about being able to, because life is never going to be smooth. Mm-hmm. It's always going to have its ups and downs. And the thing is some people can't handle the downs, so they give up power of designing their own life to a boss who designs their life for them. because they don't want to take that risk and they can't handle the ups and downs. And that's where mental toughness is key.
And also the problem is that it's more risky to be an employee because you're putting your life in hands of someone else instead of you controlling your life.
Well, the other thing is that, and I don't think most people know this unless they've had some management classes, but whatever it costs to have an employee, that employer, it wants at least a 3 times return on their investment in you. And if you're not producing 3 times of whatever your cost is, well, chances are you might not be there for long. And so I've never really been willing to give up that. Since I've started on the entrepreneurial route, I would never go backwards.
Excellent. Thank you. Boone, how can they reach you? How can they find out more about what you do? I know you're always looking for talented individuals that might want to work in your company. And also, there might be someone out there that wants to get more information about what you do and contact you. How is the best way to reach you?
So my cell phone is 239-405-5730. That was 239-405-5730. Also via email, that would be BOONEMOORE.W as in Walter, F as in Frank, G as in Gordon @gmail.com. And those are the 2 best ways that will get directly to me. And then we can start a dialogue, whether it be for somebody that needs some help understanding, I'll give you an example. I just, prior to this meeting, a young lady's father died unexpectedly at 62, and he left her some life insurance and some different things, and she had no idea what to do with it. And so in an hour-long conversation, we kind of pulled out the things that we can do to help her, and she is ecstatic to come in. So we've got another meeting scheduled to do that. So.
Okay. Well, Boone, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming to our channel. And once again, thank you very much.
You're so welcome. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in the channel. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook. If you come into our YouTube channel, please log in, like, and subscribe. And we will have more guests coming soon. So thank you very much for tuning. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.